For all film-related interviews, reviews, and content, please like and subscribe to Puja Talwar. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram.
How does it go, Abhay? I mean, I saw you mountain biking and all. How was all that? You seem to be having some fun.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to make the most of the situation that we were all in.
Can we expect a motorcycle diaries from you soon?
I mean, I'd love to, but I think a lot goes into, firstly doing it and then also being able to put it on tape and doing all of that. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things in the bucket list.
Awesome. So in the meanwhile, Abhay Pratap Singh को बताइए उनके दिमाग में अब क्या चल रहा है? थर्ड सीरीज आ गई है, तो क्या चल रहा है?
बहुत कुछ चल रहा है एक्चुअली. अभय प्रताप सिंह का दिमाग में जो जितनी चीजें चलती हैं, आई थिंक उतनी मैं लिख भी नहीं पाता, क्योंकि with the third season coming in, the stakes have to be higher, and Abhay is kind of put into a new situation, क्योंकि उसकी जो अपनी निजी जिंदगी के जो इश्यूज चल रहे हैं वो तो ऑलरेडी हाइटन है ही, लेकिन इस साल इस सीजन में विजय राज के रूप में एक नई दुनिया उभर कर आती है, जिससे अभय वाकिफ नहीं है. So it's been very exciting actually. पहली बात तो यही है कि पहली बार देश में एक शो है इस तरह का जो सीजन 3 में जा रहा है, तो उसकी खुशी, उसकी एक्साइटमेंट, लेकिन उसी के साथ साथ वो नर्वसनेस भी है कि लोग अब एक एक्सपेक्टेशन लेकर आएंगे. ऐसा नहीं है कि जीरो एक्सपेक्टेशन के साथ देखा जाएगा. So how do we do this? How do we push the envelope? How do we still retain what people like about Abhay and yet try to do something different? तो अभी ऐसा लगता है कि हमने वो एग्जाम का पेपर लिख दिया है, अब वो 8 तारीख को जमा हो जाएगा और एग्जामिनर्स आके देखेंगे और हमें बताएंगे हम कितने सफल रहे.
But now you do realize you become synonymous with Abhay Pratap Singh. Sometimes an actor becomes synonymous with the character that he plays. So, and I think it's working out really well for you. But I know season 3, you have to up the ante and also getting into the mindset of this character. How does it work with you? Because I'm sure Abhay and you are not exactly the same people. So how does it work with you?
Of course, we're like poles apart, but I feel that even though Abhay is a fictional character, I know him really well now. Because I think season 1 was that process of finding this character, understanding what makes him happy, what makes him sad, what takes him or what makes him very, very angry. So I think season 1 was, and then you're still nervous, right? Because you think you've got the character, but is it going to work or not? So जब वो confirmation public से मिला और season 2 करने का मौका मिला, I think I was slightly more confident in playing Abhay, because I keep talking about this कि सीजन 2 के एंड तक और स्पेशली सीजन 3 में तो अब ऐसा हो गया कि कपड़े देख के आदमी समझ जाता है कि ये टी शर्ट तो अभय नहीं पहनेगा, या इस तरह के कपड़े अभय नहीं पहनेगा, इस तरह की बातें अभय नहीं करेगा. तो लाइंस में भी सो आई वाज वेरी much more comfortable playing Abhay by the time it came to the third. In certain ways, a lot of it was a little bit of an autopilot. But having said that, because like I said, there's a new world, there's some kind of new situations that are created. So there were still a couple of scenes where I had to kind of dig deep and bring out something that I could do newer with this, which actually did get physically and emotionally tiring. But that's what I love about Abhay, because it's so different from the character that I am. The world of Abhay is so different from everything else that I'm doing currently. So I actually look forward to and I'm excited to play Abhay.
And also, can I say you kind of broke away that before you could be say कि ये कुनाल की image है, we've seen you doing other work. You totally broke away from that by giving us Abhay. Could I?
Thankfully, yeah. I think it's also more than me. It's the kind of work that gets offered to an actor. Sometimes get typecasted because of when he finds success in a certain thing. And I'm very happy doing comedy. And I think people enjoy watching me doing comedy. And it's a great genre to be a part of. But it's not like I decided to actively, now I'm going to break away. It's just that kind of work wasn't coming my way. But when it did, I was very happy to jump at this opportunity, and even happier that I could still re-establish a newer relationship as Kunal Kemmu in a different character. Otherwise, sometimes what happens, you get used to seeing somebody in comedy and you're like, you should just stick to comedy because that's so good. So I'm very lucky that I've been able to kind of do 3 consecutive seasons of the show.
And also, you've totally owned the space in the last 2 years with OTT, I would say, because, whether it was Loot Case, whether it was, Abhay, you've totally owned it. As an actor, tell me, do you think now cinema is going for those big blockbusters? Because kabhi-kabhi jo choti pictures hoti hain, unko scenes nahi milti hain, and though there's fabulous content, they just get written off. Do you think, is it going to change the way we consume our content? I'm asking you as somebody from the industry.
I think it's definitely headed that way. Nobody can foresee what the future holds, but I think it's definitely given a platform to not just films, also, I mean, of course, films, because content and web shows became a product of the OTT platform. But like you said, because there are only so many theaters and so many show timings, then you get stuck in fighting for that space, trying to promote for that space, trying to get eyeballs for that space. And a lot of times, a lot of good content, if it gets made, doesn't get the audiences, or a lot of time, a lot of good content would just be sidelined on the basis of saying, it's a big risk. And with this cast, we might not be able to justify these numbers. We won't get stars for this, and, vis-a-vis not get enough show times or theaters. So I think that kind of has helped, because now if you go onto any platform and you turn it on, you can see a big film or a big show right next to a so-called small film or a small show, and you can decide for yourself what you want to see.
And also, I know the world has been consuming Korean content. I saw your Squid Game wala post also. And how it's kind of escalated, and it was always there, but in the last 2 years, everyone is consuming Korean content. Jo bhi dete, everyone's watching it. Do you think somewhere hum logon ke content mein thoda sa laziness aa gaya? We also need to shake up stuff, or do you think we are trying to?
I think, what happens is, when it started, there were very few people who got into it. Now that it seems to be of a boom, there is a demand. And because of the demand, the supply is created. Not everybody necessarily will create that supply with quality at paramount, which I think they will also realize that OTT is all about content. And if it's not going to hold somebody's interest, they're not going to keep coming and watching it. And hence, you can get away with a season 1, but you won't have a season 2 if the audiences haven't connected with it. But, while I would agree with you to a certain extent, I also think that in the last 5 years, we've also had content that has, that can be compared with international content. Like, we have had shows that have surprised everybody, and more than one. I mean, so while we can say that, yeah, there is a lot of stuff because that's not up to the mark, and we're not very happy and proud of it, I think there are a couple of shows that have blown me away, and already I am like, oh, I wish I was a part of that show. It's reached that.
जी. चलो, मैं अभी थोड़ा इन्वेस्टिगेशन, आप जैसे लोगों की इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहे हैं, मैं सोचा मैं भी थोड़ी सी इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर लूं आपके साथ. Have you ever been caught doing something you shouldn't have?
Oh, sure, of course.
जैसे?
मतलब ये तो कहाँ से, बचपन से लेके आज तक शुरू कर ले तो कुछ ना कुछ तो हो ही जाता है. जब मैं छोटा बच्चा था, बड़ी शरारत करता था, मेरी चोरी पकड़ी जाती. Whether it was trying to copy an answer sometime, or even like cheating on a so-called diet plan that I've tried to kind of initiate for myself, or so many things, mostly food related now, because I mean, there isn't enough opportunity to kind of do other stuff that I would want to get away from, because जब बचपन में आप जब छोटे होते हैं तब ज्यादा बंदिशें होती हैं, तो आप उन्हें तोड़ते हैं और अक्सर पकड़े जाते हैं. When you become an adult, there's not much that you cannot do what you want to. So yeah. Also, I think often
सब workout करते हैं. Your wife included, you. I saw the little one also trying to do. सारे घर में सब में घर पे सबको लगा डाला.
It's good, I think.
It is
I'm
very
happy because I had a lifestyle like that. I'm very happy actually that Soha also shares that, not because of me, but independently on her own. And if we can kind of make it a way of life that our child grows up kind of trying to emulate or follow, it's a good thing, right?
Absolutely. So if anyone in your family could get an award for being the most ड्रामेबाज कौन है?
फिलहाल तो इनाया ही है.
Enjoy this. They grow up very fast. Before
you know,
she wouldn't want to talk to you all. She wouldn't have time for you all. So what's the worst lie you've told anyone?
The worst lie?
Yeah.
I'm actually not much of a liar. I mean, I stopped that. I mean, because that's like one of my pet peeves. I can't handle lies. So I try to not say lies. And if I have to, then it's only to like, this film was great and you were so good in it. That's the only time you will want to, because you don't want to make somebody feel bad. And also because it's about perspective, right? You may like a film and somebody may not, and you may not like something and somebody may love it.
True.
So usually that's the lie that kind of continues.
वो तो पता चल जाता है जब सबकी tweets आती है ना, great film, you're like, ये क्या हुआ? You know?
But I've learned to also understand that when somebody's lying, because generally when you have a trial for a film and somebody comes out, if they've liked the film, the first thing they'll say is like, dude, what an amazing film. If they've not liked the film, then more often it'll be like, you were so good in the film.
Got it.
Who shot this film?
Got it.
And you're like, well, none of this is actually talking about the film.
Got it. Now I know what to do, how to understand. So if you had the choice to give it all up and start afresh, what would that be?
Sorry, I lost you there.
If you had a chance to give it all up and start afresh, what would that one thing you would do?
I would actually do the same thing. Maybe I don't even know if I want to change the choices that I've made, because I feel good or bad, or every little thing that you do in your life has brought you to this point where you are. And if you're happy and content where you are today, then everything was worth it, right? All the nights that you cried, or the times you felt pressure or felt alone, it's all worth it. So I would actually do this because I really enjoy doing this at the end of the day.
What's the one secret you said you would never tell, but told? What a good film.
Oh, wow. I might have actually forgotten about it because I don't, one secret that I thought that I would never tell, but I told. I'm actually very good with secrets. If you want me to keep one, I will either forget it or I'll definitely keep it as a secret, but I'll never like blurt it out.
Awesome. Yeah, you are the man. What's the biggest challenge you've overcome?
I think it's a continuous process, and not most of those challenges are the challenges that you do for yourself. Most of those challenges turn out to be of perceptions around you, and especially in this field. For example, when I wanted to be a mature actor like with Kalyug, I never thought of it, but apparently it was a challenge for a child actor to break away from that image to be a lead in a film. And from that, the challenge of trying to break into comedy, because you immediately get termed a serious actor, this kind of intense films. And then once I started doing comedy, it was again a challenge to kind of come back into doing something like an Abhay or even a Malang. So I think these challenges keep getting set more so outside than inside. Otherwise, for me personally, sometimes I just set my own challenges saying that, okay, I need to gain so much weight for this film or this show. How much time can I do? So those are those. I don't think those are those challenges. Like, I mean, there are warriors who have challenges, like, how you, if somebody's disabled in an accident and how they overcome from that and go on to winning. I think those are challenges. I think our challenges are very basic.
Since you're a foodie, what is that one dish you could eat even if it's in the middle of the night?
If I'm in Delhi, then chole kulche. In Bombay, any kind of chaat. I think it's such a comfort food. And anything with aloo in it, I can have it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Awesome. So, iske baad, what can we expect, and what is the one change as an actor, who's been seeing the change in platforms consumption that you want to see going ahead?
I really hope that this win that the whole industry has got continues in the righteous way and doesn't get corrupted in any way, so as to like lay in hands of just a certain number of people. So that is exciting to be a part of this. I feel a lot of avenues have opened, not just for actors, but technicians, directors, actors. For me personally, there's Abhay now. There is a comedy film that I did called Kanjus Makki Juice, which is in post-production right now. It should be out in a couple of months. Then there's another show that I've done, which is completed, but everything is very sealed about that because we're supposed to talk about it when we talk about it. So yeah, there's exciting stuff coming up.
And lastly, everybody's been asking, when do we see you and the wife together on screen?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't actively tried to do something or avoid something just because we're married, but nothing has come our way individually also where we thought, oh, this is actually not even bad. We haven't been offered anything together, actually.
Chalo karo. Sometimes it would be nice to see, yeah?
Yeah, sure. But like I said, I mean, somebody has to write it.
Totally. And it was such a pleasure speaking to you. All the very best for Abhay. Looking forward to that. And season 4 bhi aayega, fir, I'm sure it'll get meaner, grittier, and whatever.
Sure.
Wait, what would Kunal want to tell Abhay if he was to meet him personally? A word of advice kya dena chahoge aap Abhay ko?
Bachara, I feel really bad for Abhay. He's just under constant stress all the time. मैं उसको ये बोलना चाहूंगा कि यार एक हॉलिडे ले ले.
अभी और मेरी बहुत बनेगी, मेरी और अभय की बहुत पटेगी. On that note, I resonate with Abhay. Thank you so much. All the very best.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Such a pleasure speaking to you. Bye.
Same here. Bye.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.